Hey everybody, it's Maura Allard of Wind, Water, and Wisdom, and it's Monday. Monday is Maura's Musings when I pull an oracle card and talk about the card and how it may affect anyone watching this video during the week. So it can be the energy of the week, a theme of the week, something you need to pay attention or will help you get through the week. That's the gist of what the card is for you. Now, I feel like this card falls into helping us get through the supermoon solar eclipse in Libra on October 2nd. So eclipses ask us to get rid of those defunct patterns that no longer serve us, things we've outgrown, but we may be clinging to because it's familiar, and we love the familiar because we feel safe. And so the card I got this week was called Not a Flower, Vulnerability. So you see this unicorn with a flower bursting out of its head. Vulnerability. How do you get through those defunct patterns? Sometimes you need to be vulnerable. And vulnerable is hard because a lot of us have our heart protected because we've been hurt during our life and we want to be safe. We don't want to be hurt. Who wants to be hurt? But when we're vulnerable, we raise our energy. When we share who we truly are and strip ourselves down from the protective armor, we help others. If we're vulnerable to our children, if we show vulnerability to our children, they in turn can be vulnerable in their relationships in the world, in their work, in their interactions with people, with their partners. If we're vulnerable with our partner, we show them a piece of ourselves, and then they feel more comfortable showing us a piece of ourselves. When we can be vulnerable in the world, in our beliefs, then we help the world grow. We help people that we interact with feel it can be safe at times to be a little bit vulnerable. I'm not saying go out into the world and expose all your emotions rawly, but when a trusted circle of friends, partners, family members that you trust, anyone you trust, if you can, like this week, be a little bit more vulnerable. And you can just be vulnerable with yourself too. Can you really look at yourself? Where are you guarded? Where can you let down that guard and be a little bit more vulnerable? And maybe that's all you can do this week is, where can I be a little bit more vulnerable in my life, in my day-to-day life? And journal it, write it down, ask for help so that you can show up in a different way and move through those patterns. Okay, I'm just going to read a little bit about what it says. You arrive in a spring meadow with color bursting forth from the ground, but look more closely at this tiny, slivering blossom, for it is no small feat. It is a miracle of rejuvenation and new life, though delicate and vulnerable, opening its petals one by one to see the sun gaze upon the face of the magical unicorn flower, a rare blossom indeed. The meditation is, imagine you are a tiny bee visiting the unicorn flower. Pollinate and rejuvenate. The entire world depends on you. Though small and vulnerable, feel the power that lies within. The affirmation is, there is strength in vulnerability. There is great power in the smallest of things. I love that line. I'm going to read that again. There is strength in vulnerability. There is great power in the smallest of things. So, defunct those patterns this week that keep us stuck. And one of the ways through that, of getting unstuck out of patterns, because our patterns protect us, is being vulnerable. And just this week, where can you open a little bit more so that you can go through those patterns and say goodbye to them? And then that welcomes in new energy and new opportunities. When you close doors, other doors open. Have a great week.